Never in my life seen a more obvious bust pick than Bo Nix.
I hate this pick. To me, Bo Nix was a third-round guy.
Oregon quarterback Bo Nix, a guaranteed bust.
They gave a quarterback close to $90 million to go away, and then in my opinion and others, they massively overdrafted.
Is this also as simple as they were desperate?
He better strike gold.
Bo Nix has heard it all. Overhyped, inconsistent, not built for the NFL. From the moment he stepped onto a college field, the noise never stopped, with critics counting him out before he'd even gotten started. But Nix didn't flinch. He kept his head down, went to work, and now he's making them eat their words. In just his second NFL season, Nix has flipped the script. The Denver Broncos are a well-oiled machine with their eyes on the Lombardi Trophy, and their young quarterback is a big reason why. So, let's find out how Bo Nix silenced the doubters. Bo Nix's career as an NFL quarterback was never clear-cut. Despite being a four-star recruit and signing on to play at Auburn University, where his father was a celebrated quarterback, Nix's play, while solid, didn't immediately signal a future in football's highest level. Inconsistency plagued the first 3 years of his college career, meaning he ultimately needed a fresh start to prove he was worthy of NFL consideration. So, he transferred to the University of Oregon, giving him the chance to reignite his draft stock. This decision would end up as probably one of the best of his life, as he became a star in the Ducks offense, producing 2 very impressive seasons as the starter. His best came in 2023, setting an FBS record with a 77.4% completion rate for 4,508 yards, 45 touchdowns, and just 3 interceptions. When he finally declared himself eligible for the 2024 NFL Draft, he was seen as a talented pocket passer, but there was no doubt he was being overshadowed by the other members in a stacked quarterback class. Still, one man and franchise would fall in love with Nix's physical tools and skill set, that being Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. They selected Nix with the 12th overall pick in the draft, making him the 6th and last quarterback taken in the first round. But not everyone loved the Broncos selection.
My point is this. He was in an excellent situation in Oregon, and I'm not saying that to ding him, but I am a little bit worried when I look at the Broncos depth chart that he's walking into. You don't see that kind of speed. There's questions on the offensive line. So while I get the fit, I see the vision, I see that he has a lot of the attributes that Sean Payton has historically liked in quarterbacks, I am a little bit concerned about that sort of transition because he's going to be facing a level of adversity I don't think he really encountered at Oregon.
It wasn't just the Oregon situation that was concerning to people, though. Some genuinely believed he lacked talent.
But there were 2 picks in I think the entire draft that I gave an F. One, Michael Penix, we just went over that. The second was Bo Nix, 12th overall to the Broncos. I don't really know why. Maybe it's just like the Falcons have been like this front and center laughing stock for the last decade. But Bo Nix at 12 is just as crazy. I think it's even worse than Penix at 8. Maybe it's better because Nix will play this year, but in terms of like talent, I don't get it.
There were still plenty of analysts who saw the logic in the move. Nix seemed like a great fit in Coach Payton's offensive system, as he reminded many of a later year's Drew Brees. But equally, the move was largely seen as a reach, a desperate team filling a need too soon, and betting on a talent that many felt was not worth a first-round pick. There were questions about whether he was a franchise quarterback, and if the Broncos were making a mistake investing so heavily, especially after the fallout of the Russell Wilson debacle.
Like, I love stories like this. I promise you, I've talked to, let's call it a dozen, maybe a little more, maybe a couple less, but at least 10 guys in the league who are high-ranking evaluators and decision makers in their organization. Nobody else had a first-round grade on him. I view him as a backup. I love the dude. I love the story. I love his competitiveness. I think he's a smart football guy. He's going to give you every ounce of him. Like, I just love him. But if I'm running an organization here, I think he's probably a backup.
There's already a ton of expectation and pressure put on the rookie quarterbacks, but Nix was entering his first year with seemingly every analyst calling out his team for selecting him. But despite all the noise, Nix became the first rookie quarterback since John Elway to start an opening weekend for the Broncos, and when he started to play, the criticism suddenly began looking foolish, as Nix was outstanding in his rookie year, growing into the role as the leader of the Broncos and inspiring them to a playoff appearance with a 10-7 record. His stat line of 3,775 passing yards with 29 touchdowns to 12 interceptions would have been enough to earn him Offensive Rookie of the Year honors most years, but in 2024, he had to contend with the breakout season of Jaden Daniels. Entering 2025, the hype around Nix should have been at an all-time high. The Broncos looked like a well-rounded team and were led by one of the very best coaches in the league, with a young sensation under center. But despite his impressive rookie campaign, there were still plenty of critical voices.
Now, the most likely outcome is the Broncos finish third. I understand that. But I see no outcome whatsoever where the Broncos finish first. And we'll see. We'll see how the future superstar Bo Nix looks come November. Maybe I'll be wrong. I doubt it, though.
The critical voices around the Broncos and Nix believed that his underlying numbers proved that the Broncos were winning games in spite of Nix, not because of him. It was clear that to prove his doubters wrong, Nix would have to do it all again and lead the Broncos to an even better season. Once the 2025 season got started, there were signs that maybe the doubters were right, as the Broncos fell to 1-2 after 3 weeks. This run included a 1-point loss to the surprise of the season in the Indianapolis Colts and a fourth-quarter comeback win by the Chargers. But after week 3, a switch was flicked. The Broncos simply didn't lose and went on an incredible 10-game win streak, and all the while, Nix was playing some incredible football and willing the Broncos to several comeback wins. The wins over this period included a dominant performance against the Cowboys, a win away at Philadelphia, and a fourth-quarter comeback to seal a victory over the Chiefs. All of a sudden, the Broncos looked like the hottest team in the league and were winning games at will. And Nix was the driving force behind the offense, leading them down the field and getting the team on the board while making very few mistakes. He was quietly playing high-level football, while doing all the right things to keep the Broncos within touching distance in games when things weren't going to plan. But even leading the Broncos on a 10-game winning streak wasn't enough to appease the critics.
This is a team being held back by their quarterback. We just got to call a spade a spade. And I was in that London game, and it was horrible. It was hard to watch. They're getting away with smoke and mirrors, throwing a lot of balls behind the line of scrimmage. He's not accurate. He's not been making plays down the field, and he's been held up by this defense. But that defense can only hold up so long. What happens if the defense has a bad day? Can he overcome it? Now, we've seen it happen one time, but it was a crazy chain of events in the Giants game. This isn't sustainable, and they're setting themselves up to be a one-and-done team.
During this period, Nix had several standout performances where he was the driving force behind the Broncos' wins, most notably a 247-yard performance against the Cowboys with 4 touchdowns and just a single interception, and a 295-yard performance against the Chiefs. Despite the success that Nix and the Broncos were seeing on the field, they simply were not being given the respect from analysts around the league that they deserved. Nix's play has made the Broncos one of the best teams in the NFL and a Super Bowl favorite heading into the playoffs. So the question becomes, what else does Nix have to do to convince his doubters that he is the real deal? Maybe it will take a Super Bowl run to finally convince people that this is a franchise quarterback. But it hasn't all been Bo Nix who has been driving the Broncos to the top of the AFC. There are other pieces that complement his game style and have allowed Sean Payton's offensive scheme to thrive. The receiving core is headlined by veteran Courtland Sutton and Nix's college teammate Troy Franklin. Both receivers bring something different, with Sutton providing size and veteran route running chops, and Franklin bringing the speed and some inside-outside versatility. Evan Ingram has also provided value from the tight end position, offering size and blocking to both the pass and run attacks. In the backfield, the Broncos got off to a good start with the 1-2 punch of J.K. Dobbins and rookie R.J. Harvey, who have been efficient sharing the workload. However, with Dobbins going down due to injury, Harvey has proven more than capable of picking up the slack and delivering as both a runner and a receiver. In addition to the offense, the Broncos' defense remains one of the very best in the league, having allowed the 3rd fewest yards through 14 weeks and the 4th fewest points. They give the offense all the opportunities they need to win games, and more often than not, Bo Nix is doing just that. Simply put, the Broncos look like one of the most complete teams in the league, and Bo Nix has been a major part of that. It seems insane that he has received so much criticism while winning games so consistently. His rookie season was seen as a major surprise, but in 2025, they surpassed the expectations from that first season and have, in a very short period of time, become one of the best teams in the league. The defense deserves some credit for that, for sure, as does Sean Payton, but it's time the respect and credit are given to Bo Nix too. So what does the ceiling for this Broncos team under Nix look like? They look like a team capable of winning a Super Bowl, and if it doesn't happen this year, it looks bound to happen at some point soon. Nix will undoubtedly continue to grow as he gets more years of experience under his belt, and the offense will only get better. They play in one of the toughest divisions in the league, but in 2025, they made the division their own and look set to challenge for the division and Super Bowls for years to come. Bo Nix has been doubted for all of his football life, but he has consistently proved those doubters wrong and is now leading one of the best teams in the NFL. How long will it be until NFL analysts recognize his achievements and give him his flowers? For Nix, it probably doesn't matter. Like all good competitors, he will use all the noise as motivating fuel to keep improving his game, with the goal of bringing a Super Bowl back to Denver. So, what do you make of Bo Nix's transformation and how he has answered critics with his play? And will Denver win a Super Bowl with him under center? Let us know in the comments.